Hey, Meghann Scully, and this is the Limerick Post Show. And joining me now, it is Pat Dooley of the REA Dooley Group. How are you getting on?
Good, Megan. How are you?
I'm really good, thank you. And I think, it's a great topic we're going to talk about today on the show. And I think it'll be really important for so many people, especially first time buyers. We are, of course, talking about housing. And I suppose to get things going, is it a buyer's dream right now? Is it a seller's dream? Or what way is the market looking?
Sure. Yeah. Well, it's definitely not a buyer's dream, and it absolutely is. It's a seller's dream at the moment, and I suppose we've a lack of supply in the market, and just to roll back maybe to the time of the pandemic, which is nearly last March, 12 months now, we thought we were in big trouble in terms of moving into a recession, and quite the latter happened. I mean, we'd have a lot of properties that fell through. Came back, were renegotiated, made bigger prices when we opened up our business again, and from quarter to quarter, we've seen property rises since then.
It's wonderful, I think, and I've noticed now. I was saying to you earlier, we had a chat about first-time buyers, and I think I'm noticing a lot of my friends and my peers who are getting on the property ladder, getting their first property, and it's something maybe that I didn't really know much about until those around me started purchasing. And I guess it seems like nowadays that there is a lot of people eager out there to get on this property ladder, a lot of first time buyers. So maybe for those who are watching and listening who are thinking, they're saved up their deposit, they're looking to get a mortgage and they want to become a first time buyer, what advice would you have for them?
Sure. Yeah. Well, first of all, I definitely empathize with first time buyers in today's market because it's really tough on them. I mean, they're really up against it. They've their own cohort of first-time buyers in competition with them. They've people relocating from different cities and towns now that there's better prospects of working from home. You've people trading down. You've older people trading down from counties into cities, and you've investors as well. The investor market is quite good as well at the moment. So they are really up against it. What advice would I give? I suppose, firstly, and to every cohort of buyer is to maybe talk to the bank if you have to finance the asset that you're buying, is to talk to your bank to make sure that when you are coming to look at property that you have your approval in principle. That's probably the most important. Know what your affordability is. I suppose without that, you don't know what you're going to be bidding. You don't know should you be looking at the type of property that you're looking at. So yeah, that's definitely one. And another, I suppose, very important thing for people where prices are getting out of their limits and their budgets. They should also be looking at other areas around. I mean, I suppose the market goes outside the city and suburban Limerick. County Limerick is a beautiful place, and there really is good affordability in commuter towns. I suppose you've bigger towns like Newcastle West with good infrastructure, and other towns within reasonable access of the city as well. Things that people mightn't have been thinking of.
Absolutely. And I think you said there, there is so many towns and villages outside in the county, and the roads are so great now. There's so much to offer. And, with the Greenway now being built as well and that up and running, there's a lot for people to do outside. And it's not that far. I feel like when you're in Limerick, nowhere is too far away from anywhere. And I think that's great for people to know as well, and maybe expand the horizon and look elsewhere. And I've noticed as well around Limerick City and County, there's a lot of new builds happening, a lot of housing estates being constructed at the moment, which I guess it means that there is the demand there as well. So there's a nice offering maybe of doer-uppers, but there's also brand new builds for people as well.
There is, yeah. And I mean, to go back to your first point there, the Greenway, and we have a second office out in Newcastle West, and we're there now for the last 3 years. But we do see from being in a city environment here and your town environment that there's a marked difference between the price of a 3-bedroom semi in both locations, up to as much as 25%, 30% at times. So it's definitely worth exploring. If the price of your property is going beyond your limits of your dream location, you can look at infrastructure. I mean, that the Adair bypass is something that's kind of short streamed for the next couple of years. You know, at the other side then, and on the Cork Road, the Croom, that road is becoming very accessible to the main road from Limerick to Cork. So again, areas like Croom will become more attractive, and Brewery and all that them kind of areas as well. So definitely worth thinking outside the box. And then to kind of go back to your second point with new builds as well, we have seen, and there's a massive shortage of new builds in the market at the moment. We have seen that there's a slowdown in construction at the moment. The price of materials in most cases are gone through the roof, and there's a lot of builders, they're reassessing their profit margins at the moment, and I suppose until prices of materials start coming down, I suppose it'll have to start making sense for builders to really progress at a faster pace, which we don't see at the moment, but hopefully in the next few months the price of materials will start coming down as well. It's all about supply and demand, same as us in our market. Builders are the very same. If they're short of materials, the price goes up, and you know, we struggle for a while, I suppose.
I know I've heard a lot of people talking about and discussing the materials, all right, with everything that's been going on. And, you know, we've discussed now there a lot about buyers, but there might be some people watching or thinking, do you know what, I'm ready to sell. Maybe I want to downgrade, maybe I need to upgrade, maybe I need a bigger family home, maybe I need a more retirement home. So what advice would you have maybe for sellers out there who are kind of thinking maybe now is the time to sell up?
Yeah, well, for sellers, I mean, there isn't any better time at the moment. Okay, I suppose our best guess is that the price rises should continue for the rest of the year. We won't get the supply of houses for prices to come more stable in the next few months. So while there is that low supply, there's always going to be prices going up month on month. So I mean, yeah, it's never been a better time. Like, we've seen a lot of people actually thinking about selling. They're thinking of relocating from city out to county, looking for more space because of the pandemic, I suppose, particularly people with younger families that have seen how claustrophobic they can be in a smaller house or in a smaller space. So we've got a good lot of inquiries about people moving to relocate, thinking about selling their asset, but not fully kind of there in terms of taking the plunge. So yeah, we would definitely advise that it's a great time. There's pent up demand. There's a flurry of activity in the first time buyer market at the moment, and it's something we see continuing definitely well into next year at least. Yeah.
No, it is great. I think it's great peace of mind for people to know that, you know, for buying and for selling that, of course, REA Dooley Group. Now, you said Newcastle West, you've got an office, and where in Limerick City are you located as well?
We're in Limerick City. We're at 86 O'Connell Street in Limerick. Yeah, and Newcastle West, then we're in the commuter town Newcastle West in the Carnegie Centre in Bishop Street as well.
Absolutely wonderful. And, you know, loads of food for thought there, and loads of information, I think, as we mentioned, for first time buyers, maybe people who want to invest, or of course sellers as well. Pat Dooley of the REA Dooley Group, thank you so much for chatting to us on the Limerick Post Show all about housing in Limerick City and of course Limerick County.
Thanks, Megan, much appreciated.